Hello. Welcome. The chat is already super active, so I'm glad you guys are excited for this. Welcome back to another Wednesday night stream. We have three very special guests, Taylor, Anna, and Becca. Would you guys like to all go around and introduce yourselves and what you're going to be working on during these sprints?
Taylor, do you want to go first?
I would love to go first. Sure. Hello, my name is Taylor. I make booktube, authortube content here, and I'm also an indie author. This is my first book, Venture Below. This is my second book, Venture Beyond. They're both a part of a young adult fantasy series, action adventures, secrets, princesses, pirates, lots going on. And I am working on the third book in the series. I am at 49,591 words in this first draft now.
Oh
so
gosh.
I'm definitely going to hit 50,000 words on the stream, and I'm very excited.
Yay! Oh my goodness.
That's so exciting. What part of the book are you at? Are you middle or past middle?
I'm 5 chapters left before I'm done.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to finish the ending this weekend, and that's...
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy
cool.
moly. Oh my goodness.
Snapped.
Anna, would you like to go next?
Yeah. I'm Anna. I literally actually don't know what I'm going to be working on today. I never know when I approach a writing session, just whatever I feel. But probably my to-be debut Ghost Side, I think I'll probably have to work on. It's a book I describe as I always Ghost Side because it's a mess right now. But I'm just hoping to figure out and flesh out some more stuff in that book. Yeah.
Nice.
Exciting. Hi guys, I'm Becca. I also do not booktube stuff, but mostly authortube content. I do a lot of vlogs documenting as I write my first book. I'm currently working on revising Project Eden, which is a ghost story as well. So Anna and I have that kind of in common. But I just finished up revising my Act 1, and so we do get to do Act 2 tonight, which is very exciting. I get to start. So that's me.
Love it. And I'm Brielle, and I am working on draft 2 of my debut fantasy, and I've actually paused working towards the end of the draft to rework the beginning. So I'm currently writing a new chapter 1, which is fun and scary. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be working on in this stream is the beginning of the book, maybe chapter 1, maybe the first few chapters, somewhere in there. Yeah, amazing. Hi, Mick. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Hello.
Let us know what you guys are working on as well. Oh my God. Hi, Harriet. Honored. Welcome. All the besties have rolled up. We love to see it. Joy. I'm obsessed with Joy. Joy is so sweet.
Joy. I love Joy.
Great question, Miley. What made me decide to go back and rewrite the beginning? So I had actually gotten beta feedback on the first 5 chapters months ago. I made a video about it. It was a while back. And I knew that it was something I wanted to implement in this draft, but I just decided I was going to go back, when the draft was almost done and fix it. So yeah, I'm addressing some beta comments as well as just some things that I realized I wanted to change. I wanted to add in an extra scene, things like that. And yeah, I thought for my next read through, if I know I want to make the changes, I might as well have the changes made before I read through the whole book again. So that was the thought process there. Yeah. Oh my God. Literally all the friends. We love it so much. Hi, Natalie, Alyssa, Emily, Ian. Love it. Amazing. Okay. Do we want to do a little question before we start? That'd be kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys want to drop a question, we'll do one before we get started. Yay. Also, this is the first time that I'm having Anna on a stream, so that's very exciting, and I'm very, very excited to have her.
I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know if you can tell. But I'm also just brain dead, so I'm just I don't know, floating it feels. But no, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Brielle.
Of course. Love it. Amazing. We have some people working on content to promote their book. LDJ is on chapter 22. Very exciting. Love it, love it. Amazing. Oh, everyone's so excited to have you, Anna. We love it.
Oh my gosh, guys, thank you. I'm right now. I'm like sorry.
Ooh, I have a little question for everyone. At what point of the writing process do you typically start thinking about things like blurbs and synopses? Like, is that like a beginning of the process for you, or like once you've done a couple drafts? Curious to hear.
I would say that for me, mine's always after the first draft. Normally, like once I understand like what exactly is happening during the whole book. And in terms of Venture Beyond, I didn't write that sucker until like a month before I hit publish. Like I knew what was gonna happen, but there's just so much there's so much spoiler content that could be said in the blurb for the second book, and then especially for this third book, I have no idea. Like I'm gonna have to have like beta readers give me some ideas, because I'm like, how much should I can't even say like the POVs because it'll be a spoiler. So I'm like, I don't really know. But yeah, I don't really enjoy making blurbs anyway. So I kind of put that off as far as I can. Yeah.
Well, so fair.
I think for me, I think about it at the end. Like I started thinking about it at the end of draft 1, because I'm like, I don't really want to like solidify it too much, because I feel like early on the story still kind of changes a little bit. I'm thinking about it more in draft 2 as I'm doing developmental stuff. I'll probably force myself to sit down and write it like after I'm done revising this draft, because I'm like, I do need to learn how to pitch my book and like talk about it and get comfortable doing that. I'm just really bad at it.
Wow. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit similar, but for one particular project, I actually started with the synopsis or the blurb. At least for a lot of my stories now, I kind of just try to jump into the process of trying my best just to make up something and make it sound like almost like a movie trailer. So it gets me excited, and that sort of creative intuition of me just like trying to write a blurb just like at the start of the whole process is like something that's really cool. And I've actually followed like the synopsis quite closely with actually writing the story. So I think it's a great way to see what your vision is for your story, to write it firstly, but then just obviously edit it once you derail, because it will eventually do so. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, for this project, I'm like currently trying to figure out like a solid blurb at the moment, which is why I asked the question, because I was curious. I do think going forward, maybe I'll try to do it earlier though, because similar to what Anna said, like I feel like it would be good guidance to like be super clear about like what's the core of the story going into it, because yeah, like trying to do it retroactively, sometimes it can be a little hard to like really condense or like get to that core. But yeah, I think in the future maybe I'll do it earlier for like guidance, and also just to make sure that it is pitchable and like marketable from the beginning. I don't know, just a thought, but we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, but I feel like blurbs are low-key hard, like pretty difficult. Yes, the movie trailer comparison is spot on. I agree. I like that too. Love it. Yeah, I was just curious to hear you guys' thoughts. I feel like it varies so much writer to writer, like similar to the pantser plotter dichotomy. Like at what point you're thinking about how does this get summed up depends, you know? What time is it for Anna?
It's a really good time. It's 10 a.m. for me. Usually if I try to make a live, I used to do some lives on my channel, and I'd have to wake up at like 7 a.m. because everyone's like from America. So it's like hard to do that, but it's a good time. I was very glad when Brielle was like, oh, maybe this time. I'm like, oh, perfect. So
love it.
Not too late or early. Yeah, perfect.
We love it. Amazing. Okay, should we get into a sprint?
Let's do it.
Amazing. Do we have time preferences?
I'm open for anything.
Open for anything. Also, I'm dead, actually. Yeah, maybe start with the 25.
That sounds good.
Okay. Sounds good. Yay. And then maybe we'll do a 30 for the second one. We'll do a little bit of a warm up with a 25.
Mhm.
Amazing. Well, best of luck, everyone. And I will share my screen. I always speak too soon, and then I need to like pull up the pull up the timer, and I'm like, patience, everyone. Sorry. Okay. Good luck. We'll see you in 25 minutes. Oh, and drop your questions for after. Okay. Hello, hello. How's everyone's sprint?
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
How's it going? Everyone's looking distressed.
It's so good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
That was so stressful. I got 360 words. You know, like when you end a chapter before and you're like, fire, heat, incredible, impeccable. I've never written anything better. And then you have to pick up after that and you're like, I actually don't know how I'm going to connect this to where I need this to go. That was me trying to figure that out. So that's why
That's so fair.
Wow.
I very similarly got 380 words. I just like don't, you know, when you have a scene concept, but you don't know what the conversation content is. Like, I feel like I struggle with this a lot, specifically at the beginning of a book, where I'm like, okay, we need a bonding scene between these two characters, but like, what the heck are they going to talk about? So that's my current struggle. Like, I like the framing of the scene. Like, they're swimming in a lake. It's fun and fresh, but I'm like, you guys need to talk about something. So that's my current struggle. Yeah, but it went well, kind of.
Very nice.
Hey, you wanna?
Yeah.
You go before me.
I got 689 words, and
Damn.
Wow.
the chapter I'm writing is like the chapter. You know, like at the end of a series, like when you're facing your demons, like the big bad guy. I just wrote that chapter. So I'm like shaking, and I just hit 50,312 total. So, which is crazy because I really only started this like mid-January, I think.
Oh my God.
I like really started this draft. And I have, oh my God, I have 3 chapters left. Stop.
Taylor, that's crazy.
And these are like in my head, like the wrap-up chapters. Like it's just like we're resolving, each POV gets their own little moment, but like that's like it. What just happened? Oh my God.
I think you blacked out.
I'm so frustrated. I'm
blacked out. Wow.
So yeah, that's why I was like having a moment.
I was
like, oh my God, dude. Yeah. So anyway, that's what happened to me. Oh my gosh. Locked in. Yes. 100%.
Anna?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know what's going on with my book, but it's like a mess. I'm like in between whether or not I should keep the book the same or like introduce this new like fantasy element. So when I get really overwhelmed, all I do is go back into my project and like just like edit a chapter or two. So that's like what I've been doing. But the bad thing about that is I start to fall in love with the original idea of my book, if that makes sense. While I'm just trying to get like editing reps in and just like experience, I start to be like, wait, I love this book how it is. But it's also just good. I was working on a lot of dialogue because I think when you write your first like couple drafts, you get to understand your characters a lot more. So then I kind of saw that some dialogue just needed a few tweaks. So that was really cool to see, or just kind of give more context and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. This book is struggling, but it's going okay. Yeah.
How long have you been working on Ghost Side?
I think I wrote the first draft in NaNoWriMo 2021.
Wow.
No, 2022, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. But I'm on draft 3 at the moment, going through like lots of editing. But then again, it's like you get to a point where for some reason you want to reimagine the whole book and it like freaks you out a bit. So I still don't know yet, but I think I'm probably going to go on the route of keeping it more the same. I don't know. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, thanks. Very stressful though. Oh.
Yeah. The developmental edits slog is really intense, and I feel like it's a time where you like question everything. So I totally feel.
I know, like truly, at least like what's your guys' like favorite part of the writing process? I just know that editing is not mine. I love writing the first draft. That's my favorite. So What about you guys?
I think same. Of the parts of the process that I've experienced so far, like I can't speak to line or copy edits yet, but of the parts I've done so far, I think the first draft has been my favorite.
Yeah.
Nice. I've been finding that whatever I just did was my favorite. So it's like right now I'm looking back and I'm like, I loved outlining and I loved like brainstorming. And then I'm sure when I'm editing, I'm gonna be like, man, I wish I was drafting still. Like this is rough. And then I know after I'm revising and I'm having to like mark it and do all of the wrapping up of the book, I'm gonna be like, man, what I would give to just revise a chapter right now. So I don't know. I think it shifts, but for me, I'd ultimately say probably outlining, which is very shocking for me out of everything. But I love that process of like fitting it all together.
I think as much as it sometimes makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing, I do actually really love going in and like developmentally changing things. I'm like, okay, how can I make this incrementally better than it was before? So even though I always feel like I don't know what I'm doing, like you said, Anna, like I feel like I reread the chapters that I just gave to some of my friends to read, and I'm like, this is already so much better than what it was. And like I feel like I have a much better grasp of my characters now, and like that's a really good feeling. So I think that part where you get to play and like structure it and make it like as good as you can make it is probably my favorite so far.
Cool.
Interesting. Yeah, that was a good question, Anna.
Thanks.
Also, this is the most people I've ever seen in a stream, which is really fun. Thank you.
I want to
for
get it
being
up
here.
on mine. I want to see what people are commenting because I've never done a stream like through your StreamYard. So I was like, I want to see what everyone's talking about.
You should be able to see the chat. I think you just have to
Oh,
select
really?
it.
Maybe link your channel, Anna. You might have to do that.
I feel like
Okay.
there should be an option to just see comments on the right-hand side of the StreamYard. I'm almost.
Oh my
100%.
gosh, yeah. I was on the private chat. That's why.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening.
I was like, where's everybody? No. Cool. Oh, that's good. I now have like context. Cool.
Yeah.
There's some really good questions, by the way.
Yeah.
Like a little ways up.
I'm trying
to
to
there's a lot. No. I'm just. You all are great. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I think I saw a question from Ari, right? Yeah. Let's pull
there are
that
a
up.
couple.
Ooh, which character surprised you the most in the project you're currently writing? Great question.
Huh.
You got to think about it. Well,
I think for me, it would probably be the like third member of the trio, because I have like, you know, a little trio that goes on the journey, and the third girl was kind of the one who got the least attention at the start because she wasn't in the love, you know, pairing or whatever. And getting to discover like her arc and the ways that I think she's actually going to like come into herself, especially in the second book, I feel like was really fun to discover because it kind of happened almost in the background. And then I was like, oh, you've gotten kind of interesting. Like, I like you. Yeah. So I think her, I really liked working with her.
I think mine is Leo, who is like the male main character for books 1 and 2. But something happened in book 2. I can't disclose it because it's a spoiler. But I was very shocked with his arc in this draft. That's all I'll say because I don't want to say anything crazy. But I was very shocked, and I'm living for it. That's all I'll say. That's all.
Love it.
At least for me, I don't know, my mind goes to another project I'm working on with, which is my secret fantasy project, which I'm just now starting to draft. I've like done the outline, but I think as you start to outline your story, you kind of can come up with characters and you're not sure whether or not they'll be, kind of like the main characters or the sub characters. So kind of similar to you, Brielle, where I had this character which I didn't actually think I was going to include at all. But then at the end of like the second book, which I've outlined, like he's become like one of the main like people who change and like blow up the world, basically. Like, well, not actually, but you know, he has such an integral part to the plot that I can't imagine the story without him. So like that was very surprising, seeing also his journey and also his arc. As you said, Taylor, I think it's really cool when you see your characters really change and shift. My favorite characters, at least with this particular character, is how he kind of switches sides in a way. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of my interesting take, where he doesn't really, he's kind of like the Switzerland of the story, you know what I mean? So I really enjoyed writing him and his journey. So I'm excited to write it actually, like, in the draft. So, yeah.
Love that.
I think for me, it's got to be my main character's parents. I feel like usually in a story, parents are very much so used as like, they're either like abusive or they're absent or they're dead. Like they're very much a narrative to like push your character forward. And I was like, I really want to see two really in love, supportive parents. And like, I have this main character who's so like resentful of that kindness in a really complicated way. And I'm just like, how do I make this understandable while also like he doesn't actually resent his parents? It's just like how he lives up to their legacy and like all the good that they do, and he doesn't feel so. Like I feel like getting to write really sweet, wholesome parents and how they interact with their kid, their adult son, has been like really exciting and like different. I think challenging as like a writer, because I'm like, how do I navigate that relationship in a way that like makes sense? But it's been really fun. I'm really enjoying writing them.
I really love that, Becca. Low-key, I feel like being able to make like sweeter dynamics still very interesting is very impressive and like masterful, because obviously like when there's a ton of drama and stuff going on, it's kind of easy to make it dramatic and like interesting. But I think it's so special when you can like find just like a sweet dynamic and be able to make it like still make the reader invested. I feel like that's so impressive. So I love that you're doing that.
I do.
I'm sure you're killing it. I'm sure it's coming out super, super great, and I can't wait to read it. Yes, very fresh. I agree. Also, I discovered the starring feature, Game Changer. In the comments that you can star comments you want to come back to. I can't believe I'm just now learning this.
I know, that's really nice, actually.
Game Changer. Good to know. Okay. What drives you to write when things get difficult? I wanted to pull this one up because literally right before this stream, we were talking about things getting difficult. So, does anyone want to start us off?
I can go first and give y'all some time to think. What drives me to write when things get difficult? I think it's like a couple different things. I think number one is I obviously really love my story. Like I think that's why having like a why of like why you're writing something is really important, because like when you do feel like crap about the words that you're putting on the page, you're just like, no, like I really believe in this and like what I'm trying to say or like what I'm trying to do. Like I feel like the really nice thing about writing is that you're doing something very difficult, and like you have to like almost like appreciate the difficulty and the fact that you're like navigating through that. So like for me, that's really big, like feeling like, oh yeah, like I am doing something that's like really difficult, but I'm like finding out how to do it my own way. Like that's really important to me. And then the other thing, which I don't know, might be like a really unpopular opinion, but like I have a specific vision of how I want my life to be. And like part of that is writing stories, writing books, like sharing that with people. So like, I feel like I owe it to myself to like get as close to that reality as possible. So like, I don't know, I feel like I'm fulfilling something for myself whenever I do manage to like push through, like whenever I have a really bad writing day. And also it's like enjoyable. I get to make stuff up. And it can be whatever I want. And like, I can make it as traumatic or as mushy as I want it to be. So yeah, I think like finding the balance of like, this is fun, this is fulfilling for me, but also like reveling in the difficulty of it and just like being present with that feeling and then just moving forward is like kind of what keeps me going, honestly. So
I
beautiful.
totally agree. I think that was so well said, so beautiful. I feel like I've been kind of reckoning with similar things, like what you said about you feel like you're fulfilling something for yourself. Like I've been trying to affirm that to myself as well, and like you know, I'm fulfilling this for a younger version of me that maybe didn't have the ability to persevere in the way that the adult version of me can, you know? And didn't have like the tools and like the perspective to know that when it gets hard, it doesn't mean you stop. It means you can keep going. Why do I feel like I'm gonna cry?
No, that is such a beautiful way to elaborate on that. That's so true.
Yeah. So I think that's a sweet note. Okay, I'll let someone else talk now.
That's amazing. Cry if you want to.
Yeah.
I love that.
It means a lot to us. I think I can speak for like a lot of people. Anybody that does this, like anybody that writes, even if it never sees the light of day, it's like it truly is just like a work of like your heart. It's just, it's so special. And you should, when things get hard, I feel like that's the thing you have to hold on to, is like, it doesn't matter if it's good enough for anybody else, like it's good enough for me. You have to be proud of yourself.
Wow. No, I'm gonna cry. That's really nice. Anyway, on that same note, I dedicated Venture Beyond, like literally the dedication is to the past versions of me that never thought this future would happen. And that sums it up. Like that's like for me, like what drives me is, like you said, like literally I wrote this story first when I was in 8th grade. And like I was going through like a really horrible time in my life and I needed an outlet. And then me as an adult, like I'm writing it to fulfill her dream. And there was a time 100% where I was going to take Venture Below off Amazon and just quit writing completely. And then I had that reflection of like, why am I doing this? Like, why actually am I sitting down to write? And it's because I want to. Like, I'm having fun. And like, this is what I've always wanted to do and what's made me so happy for so long. And to just kind of let that dream fizzle out and die because I was afraid of what people were thinking or what they might think or how they might perceive me, or like I was getting like a handful of bad reviews ish, you know, and that like tore me down so badly. And I was like, but look at all the positive ones. Like, look at all the people that are supporting you and like are connecting with this character and connecting with that little 8th grade version of me that wanted this story to be written, you know? And yeah, that's what drives me. And now I do it because it's fun and I'm passionate about it. And I just remind myself of that even when I don't want to write, you know?
Yeah. I think, yeah, very similar. At least quite recently, I've been kind of trying to view writing not as something not restricted to a particular project, as like I want to kind of view more writing as just the act of writing and working on something, even if I don't see a project to its full completion. But I do still really enjoy at least like what motivates me or drives me. I do like, there's always something satisfying when you see like the circle ending in a story. So that's something that drives me, I guess. And also, I think I've talked a couple of times in my videos about just, what's the word? What's it called? Where like the justice for your characters to like have their stories written. Because I feel like I'm quite attached to my characters. So then when I want to like, yeah, when things get difficult or like right now I'm kind of like freaked out with Ghost Side. Yeah, I kind of just remind myself of the characters and like why I adore them and why I want people to learn about them. So yeah, those are a couple things. But then again, I was thinking, because everyone was like, yeah, like what you said, Becca, about like your dream about being a writer. Like I just thought about my I've like dreamt about retirement since like grade 11, like since like high school. I was talking about my parents about what am I gonna do when I retire? And I want to like live in Europe in like a beautiful little cottage, like an old woman, have my rocking chair, and just have like my books and like just read all day. So like that is the sort of journey I want to like take, and I can't do that unless I write my books and try to make it like a real job. So that's I guess that's a couple things. Yeah.
I love that. And I love what you said about like the satisfaction of closing the circle too, because I do also think like if you are embracing the struggle of it, kind of like Becca said, like it's going to make it so much sweeter at the end when you know like I have so much to be proud of. Like I really persevered a million times, you know? So I feel like that makes it all the more satisfying. Yeah. Love it. Amazing. Also, I love all all the comments in the chat being like, okay, crying. Love that. Love that. The goal with this stream to make you cry for sure. I love it. That was a great question. Thank you, Tia. And then I think we'll do maybe like one or two more. If anyone wants to drop an additional one, I have one more saved as well. At what point in the process do your characters get their name? On a lighter note, for me, like in general, I was a pantser with book one, but one thing I knew I needed, names. It is mysterious to me how people can write a whole book without knowing the names. I love that for you. I simply don't think I could do that. I think I have a hard time picturing them or viewing them as a person unless they have a name. So yeah, that comes pretty early for me.
Yeah, I agree. Mine usually just kind of happens. Like I don't know, like it usually just spawns like out of my hands as I'm typing. Like I'm like, oh, now your name is flipping whatever it is, Finley or Zephyr or like some random like fantasy name out of nowhere. And then occasionally if I'm not a fan of it, I'll just go back to it after I've like researched what I want it to be, you know, with some meaning behind it and a deeper level. But for the most part, it just kind of happens. I don't really know. That's interesting. I never really thought about it.
I actually think about my names a lot, especially at least for like the main and secondary character. Like I knew Peter Pan is like a really big influence on me growing up. It's like part of the reason I wanted to be a writer. And so naming my character Peter, there's a very specific reason for that. And not just because like I think of like the Peter Pan from Hook, like Robin Williams, like I draw a lot of parallels. But other than that, yeah, I guess I do put a lot of thought into it actually.
Yeah, I'm quite similar. I definitely need character names. I'm a little bit weird. I have like, you guys maybe also do. I have like just a note on my notes app of just like all character names or like favorite names, even for like my future kids. And usually what happens is when I start a new story, I actually go to that list and pick out one. It's kind of like I don't know, like I prophesize a character through just like writing a character name. So like I usually pick, or it just spawns like matches the character. But usually I have a couple different things circulating in my brain. But to me, I'm for sure like names are so important to me. That's why at least the idea of naming like a child one day kind of scares me. Like, would you guys ever name your character? I mean, your kid like a character name? Is that weird? Would you name her like, I don't know. That could be weird, but cool, but weird. I don't know.
I feel like once a name is ruined for me, or like not even ruined, but once I have an association with a name, I can no longer use it ever again for anything. Like I cannot name my kid the name of any kids I knew growing up because I'm going to just think of them.
Yeah, same.
100%.
Complete same.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems like there's a mix of approaches to naming in the comments, but I do want to kind of try that approach of having just a list that I can like go back to, and like when I'm looking for names, I feel like that would be super helpful. So that's a good idea. I love that.
You know what I've done when it comes to locations for like the fantasy book that I was writing? My husband and I drove cross country a couple of times. If there was a name, like a town, I would just write it down, and sometimes I like Frankenstein different names together.
Oh,
Cool.
That's cool.
I like that a lot.
I like that.
I'm dead. I'm going to insert a radical Californian into my next story and name her Brielle. Am I a radical Californian in everyone's head? Is that your
brand?
The more you know, the more you know. I'm dead, actually. Okay, interesting. Okay, there's so many good questions, so forgive me. I feel like we have to do a couple more.
Yep.
Okay, give me a second. Give me a second to pick one. Oh, I feel like we got to talk about this because I feel like this is always such an important question and something that I feel like a lot of us have been getting feedback lately, so it's very relevant. I want to hear the thoughts. Taylor, you want to start us off? You're looking intrigued by this one.
Okay, sure. I would love to. So 100%, it's hard for me. Like, I understand criticism, I understand critiquing and like giving feedback. I want it. Like, if it's gonna help the story be better, I want that. But I don't know if it's just me or if everybody's that way, but it's always sensitive. There's always a part of you that wants to like explain it or be like, well, you don't understand why I thought the way I did. And like, even if it's like not just like word choice, but like the story as a whole, like there's a part of you that, you know, but I'm always try to like understand like where the person is coming from. I'm like, okay, this is what they saw. I understand that. Like, I'll work on making this better or whatever it is. But I feel like it's always sensitive. And especially with having books out there, for my own mental health, I cannot look at the reviews on my books. Like, I can't, even though I do. And like, that's like what I was talking about before. Like, I mean, I'll have like, I think I got 1-star review on the book and like 1 2-star, and they knocked me so far down, and they were nice. So I'm like, it's not even that they were coming at me and being like, your writing is horrible, but it's just that like weight, you know, like that you, I think, carry around with you, and you have to learn to kind of like brush it off and understand that like sometimes your work is just not for everybody. But in terms of like getting like feedback from like a beta reader or something, I think just going in with like the mentality, like they're just trying to help you make it better. Like, that's their only goal. Like, nobody's coming for you. Like, you have to separate yourself from your work and like, just know that's it. Like, the person you're trusting this with is just, they're just trying to help make it better. They're not coming at you, you know?
I think it's important to choose who you're asking for feedback and at what point you're asking for feedback very intentionally. Because I was thinking about this earlier today. I do think there's something to be said for the energy surrounding a project in your head. And there are certain projects that I can look back on that got real tainted by like maybe a specific bit of feedback or just like my insecurity around the project. And I look back at that project not fondly, like, you know?
100%.
And that's like super real. And I'm like, I don't want to get to the end of this book and have like really bad associations when I think back to it because I gave it to the wrong person or I gave it over too early or like I just didn't have the right healthy mindset when I was looking at feedback. Like, I'm very wary of that because I do think those things stick with you and can really like taint an era or a project if I don't know if it hits you too tenderly. So I think it's important to like hold yourself gently during like the times when you're getting feedback and like Taylor said, like have that perspective of like, what's the purpose of me getting this? Like, it's not personal, all of those things. And yeah, just to get feedback from people who, you know, are like trusted or whose opinion you really like believe in. Because yeah, it can like keeping good energy around a project. And like, at least for me, I know my best creative work happens when I feel secure and not when I'm like scrambling or like defensive or feeling desperate in any way. And so I need to like make sure I'm showing up to the project with those vibes. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's helpful.
I think for me too, to kind of build off that, because I think both of you answered that like so well. Like, I recently, despite saying that I wasn't going to do this, handed over my like revised chapters to 2 very close friends whose opinion I do like value and respect. And I think the thing that also really helps is when you're giving a piece of work over to someone, even if it's just an excerpt or something, I think one of the things that you can do is like set the boundary of what kind of feedback you're looking for. So like, I know that these are very early chapters and I'm just like, does this read well? like, does this make sense structurally? Does this read like you're reading a book, or are there pieces missing? Like, I don't need line level edits. I just need you to tell me how this is making you, like, being very specific about what kind of feedback you're looking for can help set that boundary with you and your critique partner or your beta reader or whoever it is that you're like asking for help from. But I think, yeah, also like Brielle said, like, being cognizant of when you're turning something over. I probably won't have anybody read this book in its entirety until after I've probably finished a third round of like revisions on this, like, because I know I'm like, it still has a way to go, and that's when I would really want people to be critical of it, so that I'm like picking things up that I am like hopefully not missing. But yeah, I think you both articulated that like pretty well. Just set boundaries, man. Set boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And one like small thing that I'll add is I think also detaching how well the book is working versus how good of a writer you are. Those are two different things. Your book can be full of problems and you can still be a fine writer. Like, it is not a reflection of what you're capable of. And like, I feel like we all like to think we're going to be the exception in the sense of like, well, maybe my first draft actually won't be that bad, or like maybe it actually will be presentable like right away. And for me, like having to like be like, no, like it's okay if it's not like up to a standard until the second or third draft, like that's okay. Like accepting that, I feel like has been really helpful. But yeah, I would say just trying to detach any sort of self-worth metric from how the book is working and trying to view it as like its own entity as much as possible will allow you to approach it from like a problem-solving place and like a let's move this around and make it fun to fix it place, and not a, oh, because it didn't come out right the first time, I must just suck, you know? So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Very good points. At least how I describe, I don't know, editing and people giving feedback, it's, yeah, I kind of also try to separate mostly the fact that they're mostly giving feedback on the structure and not on your story's core or what you're trying to say. They're not trying to change, you know, what you're actually trying to say or the sort of themes you want to go into. They mostly just want to enhance it. So I think, yeah, reminding, as you guys said, that editors are there and beta readers are there to help you enhance your story, not like change it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like turning up the saturation sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
True. Yeah. And also remember that for them, like, they're viewing it as like a project that they're doing where they're looking for problems, right? So like they're trying to be as helpful as possible by pointing out as many things as possible, and sometimes that can feel like they saw so much wrong with it, but they were searching for things wrong with it, right? So it's not the full picture of like the quality of your book, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I recently like had to give some feedback on one of my friends. He's like written a poetry collection, and especially with like something with poetry, it's so much more subjective, so it's difficult even in that sense to give feedback. But even just generally, me giving feedback, I have to like say, I'm so sorry, but if you don't think this is right, then just disregard this whole comment, because I know, yeah, as everyone said, like it's very sensitive, especially like poetry and like your book baby. So,
and I feel like that's the other part of it too, right? Is being able to, as the writer, be like, actually, no, like I don't want to change that. Like that's not aligned with what I want. So that's a good flag.
That is a great point, especially if you're a people pleaser. Hello, sound off. I am one. It could be really easy to be like, well, if someone says it, it must be true. Like, like put other people's opinions immediately on a pedestal of like, well, every comment I get is obviously going to be true, so I need to fix every single thing that they say. But you need to have some self-trust too, and remember that it is subjective, and like two readers might even have disparate opinions, you know?
Right. That was a huge problem I had with Venture Beyond, is I gave it to too many people and I got too much wrong feedback, and I took all of it and I added it all to the story, and that's why I had like 7 drafts and like 5 full rewrites of that book, because I took so many other people's opinions in, and I learned my lesson. I learned that lesson the hard way. So yeah, very valid. Not everything you have to accept at all.
I also think this is a great point, Joy. I think receiving feedback gets a little easier if you have practiced giving feedback so that you know what it's like to be that person. Yeah. I feel like that reminds you it's really not personal. Like I feel like since doing so many critiques, I've really like become better at receiving feedback because I'm like, oh, I really get that it's not personal now because when I give it, it's not personal, right? It's trying to help. So I agree. If you do it, you can understand the mindset that the person is coming from. And it's never the mindset of like, wow, this person sucks at writing. Like that's never what they're coming at it from, you know? Yeah. Also, I love this. Alyssa had some good advice in a past video where she said, you're not a big deal. And that helps me a lot.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way.
I watched that. Yeah.
Take us down a peg.
Yeah.
It's the spotlight effect. Like everyone assumes, you know, that everyone's thinking about them and thinking that they're not good at things. And it's like, no one's spending that much time thinking about you.
Just you are.
Exactly. Amazing. Well, that was a really great conversation. Thank you guys all so much for the great questions. That was super helpful. Hopefully you guys all got something from that. And we're going to jump into a second sprint. Low-key, I'm thinking maybe we do just another 25 because that felt kind of nice and not too intimidating. Are you guys down for that?
Sounds great.
Amazing. Okay, I'll pull it back up. Best of luck, everyone, and then we'll do a final little chat. Yay.
Woo!
Okay, energy.
Woo! Let's go.
Yeah. How was everyone's little sprint?
I finished the book.
Shut the. What?
Your pace is
Congrats.
insane, Taylor.
How is that literally how physically?
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna cry, but anyway, I mean, okay, where do I even begin? So the last like 3 chapters, there's stuff missing for sure. Like I need to add more, but I wrote the scenes that I had like outlined. And then yeah, I wrote the end, which I'd never done before in like anything. Everything's always been to be continued, and that's and I think I wrote 5,000 words for the day. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my
And y'all,
gosh.
this is the end of a trilogy. This is like a big milestone.
Huge. I'm freaking out anyway. I'm more shocked than anything. I'm also vlogging this, so everybody, what's up?
Hi.
Oh my god. Anyway, yep, that's what. It's great. What a great day.
Woo,
Congrats.
Congrats.
I'm so happy for you. Taylor, I feel like you're low-key always like accomplishing crazy things every time we stream together.
I know. I feel like that too. Oh my god.
I love it. I love it so much. Congrats. Everyone in the chat is going crazy for you. As they should. So cute.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
I feel like none of us can follow that up. I mean, let's
No, I know.
No, not at all.
Because I was like, well,
amazing. Love it. Yeah, we're all super excited for you. Also, I love this. I would love
Genuinely,
to be your
though.
good luck charm. An honor. I got 300 words, so much less exhilarating than that. But
That's great.
I low-key feel like that's become my new pace, and I think it's because I've had to slow down to like, now that I'm in revision, like I'm trying to like slow down to like make it right, like more right, you know? So yeah, I feel like I have to embrace the slower pace, but I'm happy with how this scene is turning out, so that's good. Becca, Anna?
I hit 15,000 words in my draft, so that's fun.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys. I'm only on chapter 4, so I don't know how like the rest of the draft is gonna shape up, but I feel like it's gonna be. I think this is also why I feel like I'm having really conflicting feelings about this draft, is because I'm having to fill in a lot of gaps that I didn't have when I first wrote it. So there's like scenes that I knew were missing from that story. And so I'm trying to just I'm writing something completely, I'm basically redrafting the whole thing. So I'm just letting myself, again, just be bad and get it down and everything. But same as you, Brielle. I think I got 350 words. So I'm happy with it.
Love it. Moving at a similar pace. Anna?
I felt a little bit left out because you guys were drafting, so I literally just moved on to my secret fantasy project to do some drafting, which was so fun. I'm like only on chapter 2, so it's like really chill, but it's like the heightening to like chapter 3, which is like where things really get going and the whole story is like flipped. So I really enjoy it. It's like really difficult because it's like in a different realm, so like having to write about things and just even describe things, like I was gonna say like, you know, something that she does is like clockwork, like the main character, but like clocks don't really exist like also in this time, so it's like, yeah, it's difficult sometimes when you're drafting to go through those filters, but I feel like that will be better in the next coming drafts. So I just wrote a little bit of a chapter.
Nice. Yeah, those phrases will get you. Like for me, it's I used deer in headlights the other day, and then someone was like, well, are there cars? And I was like, you know,
yeah, like
fair question.
Something as like electric, and it was like, that's not, you can't say that. I was like, dang it, you're right.
Yeah.
It really forces you to get creative.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's true. Yeah, or like one that always gets me is like if they're like saying oh my god or like Jesus Christ or like using like something that's like religion specific, and then I'm like, oh well, this is a different world and that wouldn't be part
That's
of
not a thing.
yeah.
Mhm.
So gotta be careful with that, but yeah, let us know how your sprints were in the chat. Very curious to hear. Thank you. We love to see it. Yes. We got all different parts of the process being represented right now, you know?
Honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, it's a struggle. The world specific language, it's a whole thing. Love it. Thank you guys so much for joining. This was such a fun stream and so cool to have such an active chat as well. And get to talk about like the deep things as well. We love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for
Yeah.
hosting. I always love being a guest on your streams.
Aw, that's really sweet. Thank you. Also I love this. Little white like canopy.
Yeah, well, my room's just like so white. So like this is actually has like it's pink. It's like bright pink. So I don't know if that's the aesthetic. It's actually a really nice chair. My sister works on like movie sets and she just like got this and like was like put it in my room one day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a chair. But I thought it
So
would,
nice.
I am not gonna put it back on.
That's funny.
Yeah, now I don't look like a bride. I look like a damn kid.
I feel like you have such a consistent aesthetic. It always like blows my mind how you're able to keep everything so like perfectly like curated and neutral.
It's just a white room. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm in like a mental asylum. A little bit. I was like, what is this? It's because my dad recently repainted, so I'm not allowed to put like too much on the wall. So I just have like 2 little postcards, a little poster. So it does look a bit like.
That's
Yeah.
funny. I think it's cute.
I love it.
Do you guys have anything you want to plug or tell the people where they can find you to close?
Sure. I make videos on the internet. Very, very fun. I do have a video coming out Saturday that is my 12-hour writing challenge video where I wrote 15,000 words in 12 hours. So if you guys want to check that out, that'll be coming Saturday morning.
Taylor!
If you want to buy my books and support me, I would really appreciate it. It's Venture Below and Venture Beyond on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited. Lots of fun stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I finished this book in like a month and a half. I don't know how. She's writing insane amounts. 15,000 words in a day. Oh my god.
Oh, you're built different. I feel like you are a good example of like when a writer finds their flow and stride.
Yeah.
Because
like I was
very
in
inspiring.
the trenches until this. So I'm like, that's why I'm so like,
yeah.
So fun, you know? Oh.
I'm sure it's rewarding. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
You can find me, Becca Tobar. I also make videos on the internet. I haven't filmed a video for this week, but there will be one, I'm sure. But you can catch me over on my channel. I don't have anything published yet, but you can go support me over there.
Love it.
I'm also a cool YouTuber. You can follow me also on Instagram as well. It's just _Anna_New or on YouTube _Anna_New. I just recently uploaded a video. I like filmed a video 2 nights ago, just like me having a writing session like at night because I've been studying so much because I'm in finals now that sometimes the only time I have to write is like late at night. So I'm really goofy in that vlog. So if you want to see me a little bit more loose, I was a little bit crazy.
Singing voice. I watched that during my lunch break today. Just
thank you.
Yes, vlogging Anna. Vlogging.
Night hits different. It's just so fun. Like you just want to like be all goofy and like funny, and also because I'm a bit manic because of my study, it's just like yeah, that's expected. And I've actually started to like put little memes. Do you you ever go on Pinterest and like see like the Kermit the Frog memes? Like they're my favorite thing. So I've like tried to pop that up in like the video because it matches the vibe. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. That's me.
Love it. I agree. We love the Anna vlog so much. So amazing. Cute. Love it. Thank you guys so much for being guests. I had so much fun with this one. And yeah, go subscribe to all of them. I'm Brielle. Brielle Writes on YouTube mainly is where I'm at. And I post every week, hopefully most of the time. And yeah, I also have Instagram. Brielle is writing, but not very active over there. But you can still follow it if you want to. Okay. Awesome. Well, have a good night, guys, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one next week if you want to come back. Okay, bye.